Russia-Ukraine war latest news. Putin approves government reorganization. Putin signed a decree appointing government officials. The chairman, 10 deputy prime ministers, and 21 ministers make up the government, according to News. Instead of Andrei Belousov, who became defense minister, Denis Manturov will be first deputy prime minister. Former transport minister Vitaly Savliev became deputy prime minister for logistics and transport development. The deputy prime minister for agriculture, agro-industrial complex, and environmental issues is Dmitry Patrushev, who commanded the Ministry of Agriculture. New appointments to the Russian Federation Cabinet of Ministers: Transport Minister Roman Starovoyt, Industry and Trade Minister Anton Alikhanov, Energy Minister Sergei Tsivilev, Agriculture Minister Oksana Lut, Sports Minister Mikhail Dekhteryov. Manaf provides information as is without warranty. We are not responsible for this article's accuracy, content, photos, videos, licensing, completeness, legality, or reliability. Please contact the supplier above for article complaints or copyright issues. Andrei Belousov replaced Sergei Shoigu as defense minister via a decree from Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to Ukrinform, the Russian presidential press office spread this information. The President of State has appointed Belousov Andrei Romovich as Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, the Kremlin said. Before, Belousov was first deputy prime minister of Russia. Putin proposes a defense minister other than Shoigu. Meanwhile, former Russian Security Council Secretary Dmitry Patrushev became deputy prime minister. Putin appointed the rest of the government and department heads, but they mostly stayed the same. Shoigu, defense ministry head since 2012, became Russian Security Council secretary. Offers information as is without warranty. We are not responsible for this article's accuracy, content, photos, videos, licensing, completeness, legality, or reliability. Please contact the supplier above for article complaints or copyright issues. Russia has advanced into northeastern Ukraine numerous times in the past week after launching a surprise cross-border incursion. These are Moscow's biggest gains after Kyiv retook Kharkiv in 2022. Investigators said Russian attacks on Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, wounded 21 civilians, including two 12-year-old girls and an 8-year-old boy, on Tuesday. There have been almost 7,500 evacuations. In adjacent Sumy, the military administration has ordered a voluntary evacuation for many communities where attacks have risen. Recent developments. Ukraine needs more air defenses. President Volodymyr Zelensky informed U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Kyiv on Tuesday that Ukraine needs more defensive systems. On the same day, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz encouraged European nations to help Ukraine access these technologies. Some U.S. gear in Ukraine. Blinken said Ukraine is receiving some long-awaited U.S. military aid after months of delays. Taking Russian assets to fund Ukraine, Blinken reaffirmed that the U.S. and other G7 countries will use seized Russian assets to rebuild Ukraine. While attention remains on Kharkiv, Russia's forces continue to exploit Ukraine's weaknesses elsewhere, particularly along the front line west of Donetsk. Zelensky has reassured Ukrainians that defending Kharkiv won't cause defensive gaps. Ukraine's state-owned grid operator has announced emergency power outages due to Russian strikes on the country's energy infrastructure. Moscow has intensified its energy system paralysis in Ukraine this month. Putin meets Xi. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets Xi Jinping in China this week. Before the visit, Putin praised China's 12-point plan to halt Ukraine's conflicts and criticized Ukraine's Western supporters for stubbornly seeking to punish Russia, isolate and undermine it. EU leaders aid Ukraine more. EU leaders agreed to a $54 billion financial package that will ensure regular payments. Macron assured Zelensky that France would deploy further military aid to Ukraine in the coming days and weeks.